Good morning, guys. It is Monday. I know we all hate Mondays, but hopefully I can brighten up your day today with this new vlog. Um, Brand new intro to the video. Hope you guys like it. It's more colorful. It's more vibrant. With that said, let's move on to the video today. Today, I'm going to focus on giving you advice on how to build your 2013 and 14 BK2 Genesis Coupe 2.0. This particular model is my favorite out of all the Genesis Coupe trim levels and the years and the generations they have. The 13 and 14 models have technically the best engine, the technically best transmission, um, and they respond very well to modifications. So this is the car that I want to start off with. You can, with the modifications I'm listing today, it could be either for the automatic or the manual, and I will give you examples of both. And let's get the video started. Okay, guys, so here is a rare commercial of a 2013 Genesis Coupe. That thing is quiet, isn't it?
Holy crap, was that a Sasquatch?
Holy crap, was that a Hyundai?
Introducing the 2013 Genesis Coupe. You won't believe it's a Hyundai.
All right, so 2013 and 14 Genesis Coupe 2.0. I'm going to talk about some specs here. 274 horsepower, 275 foot-pounds of torque. We're talking 0 to 60 in 5.7 seconds, quarter mile in blistering 14.2. Yeah, it's not the fastest car out of the box. It's definitely not the fastest car in the world right now. There's a lot of cars out there that could smoke this thing right off the showroom floor. But with that said, this car has so much potential. So let's speak about the engine performance first. BK2 2.0 engine is far more stronger than the BK1 counterpart. So it has better internals, also bigger turbo, bigger intercooler. The fuel system is also vastly upgraded. So it has a higher base pressure fuel pump. So it's running at 89 psi of fuel pressure at idle versus, I believe BK1 is right around 35 psi. So fueling is huge upgrade on these cars. By having that extra fueling, you're able to upgrade the turbo without even touching the injector side of things, which means your car will run as if it has a bigger turbo from factory when you do a turbo upgrade, because your fuel injectors will act just like factory. It'll just flow a little bit more, but you're not going to have any idle issues, no cold start, hot start issues. You're not going to have any part throttle, like chugging or anything like that. You know, a lot of things that you'll see with the aftermarket fuel systems, where because of the BK2 flowing so much to begin with, and having that higher um, ceiling of where the fuel can go, you're going to be able to take advantage of that with the following list of modifications I'm going to show you that is best for this car. So I'm going to take you on a little journey to show you how to spend your well-earned dollars. I'm going to try to keep everything under $10,000 to spend on the car, including the labor you may pay for a shop to install all these parts, so that you know everything is done professionally, everything is done perfect to the T. You don't have to worry about your friend's crappy wiring job catching your car on fire, or having exhaust leaks, or having your turbo fall apart while you're driving, etc., etc., etc. Okay? So keep up with me now. All right, to make this easier for the viewers, I'm just going to go through the website with you. I guess in the future, the website might change a little bit and the pricing might not be completely up to date. But as of today, March 28th, 2022, this is how the website looks, and this is going to be the pricing. Keep in mind, pricing does change all the time, but with the amount of room we have after I'm all done with it, I'm pretty sure even down the road in the future, we can still keep under that $10,000 budget that I'm trying to keep under. So, first thing you need to do when you buy a Genesis Coupe is lower it, because the wheel gap on that car is horrendous. Okay, And by lowering the car, you're going to get better handling out of it. You're going to definitely have better looks on it. But with that said, we don't want to cheap out and go to eBay and buy some cheap coilovers that are made by you know, who knows what. So let's see. The first thing we're gonna go to Genesis Coupe suspensions, coilovers. The set of coilovers I do recommend mostly is the silver NEOMAX coilovers, which is right here. So there's two different options. You can go with the standard version where the rear suspension, the spring is separate from the strut, just like the OEM setup, or you can get one with a true rear where the coilover spring is actually mounted onto the strut itself. Either one works. It's your personal preference. It's the same price, so pick one. I personally like keeping the OEM geometry of everything. So if it was me, this is the one I would go with. You could even customize your spring rates and such if you're not going to be racing the car. And if you say to yourself, "Oh, I might race it someday," I'm 99% going to tell you you're not going to race it. So just go with the default spring rates. Okay. Now, if you want to go racing, then you want to talk to your other friends or other people in your race series to see what kind of spring race they would recommend. But either way, the default is going to work out for you pretty much in most occasions. Okay, so default, there's really no need for the Swift spring upgrade if you're not going to change the custom spring rates, anything like that. Super low kit, I don't recommend this unless you're just trying to be all stance boy about it. You always want to lower your car enough to center the lower of gravity, but not to a point where it's going to defeat the purpose of the performance benefits. Okay, so there is certainly a too low to it. So you want to play that with how you want to modify your car. My personal opinion right now, I would stick with everything default. Okay, so we'll add that to cart. Right, next. Once you lower the car, you definitely need to put wheels on it. The OEM wheels look like they skip leg day. Okay, so I'm just gonna pick the most favorite wheel that I personally like for these cars is the Alloy AFF02. Depending on the color of your car, you can choose to go with different finishes. I prefer the satin black, so I'm just gonna go with that. Fits OEM Brembo brakes. Obviously, if you don't have Brembo brakes, even the OEM brake version of the wheel is going to fit. We only ask this just to make sure that we give you enough clearance. Okay. We're going to add a set of that. All right. So that's it for the aesthetics. Like, I want to leave the body kit, the lip, the wing, headlights, taillights deal. That's all up to you. You guys can do whatever you want. But this is just to give you an idea of how to begin modifying your car. So first thing we did was we lowered it. We put a set of wheels on it. Okay. Now let's go and start upgrading. So the standard turbo in the BK2 2.0 is capable. On a manual car with full bolt-ons and a custom dyno tune, you're probably looking around 300 wheel horsepower or so, right around there, on average. So, but this 2022, 300 wheel horsepower is nothing. Like, honestly, like you can get 300 wheel horsepower out of a Toyota Camry right now. So that's not where we want to be. We drive a sports car. We want to make sure the performance backs up its looks. So first thing we're going to look at is the turbo upgrade kit that we have here. We're going to go with the Arashi 350 to 500 horsepower turbo kit. Let's see, BK2. The turbo size I would recommend will be the very bottom one here. It's a TD06 SL2 AR3 ball bearing turbo. This will work both for the automatic and the manual version. The manual version would certainly get you to the tip top of the fueling. Same thing with the automatic. But you're going to be around 400 horsepower at the wheels with this turbo. You're also going to be around 350 to 360 wheel horsepower on the automatic without a TCU tune. If you do a TCU tune, that number could jump up a little bit now that you're revving up a little higher, just like the manuals as well. Okay. We're going to select the MXP manifold option because, unfortunately, that's the only manifold that's available right now for this turbo. Grady Profac E electronic boost controller. I have a separate video for this. I'm going to link it right up here, and I'll tell you, it'll tell you exactly why I love this controller and why I recommend it to everybody. Definitely need spark plugs. Another link, I'll put it on this side right here, on why you need those NGK spark plugs. You need to get this to 0.028 when you receive the plugs. Okay, and then this is basically the cost to assemble. We pre-assemble everything for you. There's a lot of parts that go into assembling, so that's why there's a charge for it. So let's throw that into the cart. Now, in order to run a turbo kit, you need an intake, and we need to complete the exhaust system. So let's go to the intake side first. Intake wise, honestly, you don't have to choose the most expensive. Intake is an intake. It's just piping with a good filter on it. So you just want something with a good filter. K&N owns AEM, so K&N, AEM, pretty much the same deal. Injen is a good competitor to them as well. Right now, I'm just going to go middle of the road. I mean, from pricing, it looks like Injen is the middle of the road. So I'm just going to click that. Let's add that to cart as well. The OEM piping of the intercooler is black, so I'm going to go with black piping to make sure the engine bay matches really well. Okay, now intake is taken care of. Do we need an intercooler kit? No, we do not. BK2 2.0s have a significantly bigger intercooler from factory, so there's really no reason to upgrade that until you get to a point where you're looking at 500-600 wheel horsepower. The 400 wheel horsepower rating that we're looking at right now with the turbo upgrade, there's no need to upgrade the intercooler whatsoever. There isn't even a need to upgrade piping, so we're going to skip all of that. We're just going to go straight to exhaust. Okay. The best exhaust, in my opinion, with, I've done this for, 12 years now? So, my opinion on the Genesis Coupe, the best exhaust, hands down, is MXP. This is the same exhaust we used on our 700 horsepower, 700 wheel horsepower Genesis Coupe build for SEMA that we did back in 2014. And I will stand by it every single day of my life that this is the best exhaust that you can purchase for the Genesis Coupe. So this is the cat back. We're going to add the cat back. Go back to exhaust here. Let's add the test pipe. So this is going to replace your secondary catalytic converter. So get rid of that restriction. Okay. Then we're going to add the downpipe. Here's the part where you really need to pay attention. So after we add the downpipe, there's one piece left of the exhaust that we still need to change, which is the primary O2 housing. Primary O2 housing for the turbo kit that we selected actually requires us to purchase the BK1 version of the O2 housing. So don't buy the BK2 version. Right? So we're going to go back to Genesis Coupe. We're going to go to BK1, exhaust, and let's scroll to find our MXP O2 housing. There it is, MXP O2 housing for the 2010 through 12. So we're going to use this because we're using a turbo kit. Obviously, if you don't select the turbo kit, you're going to have to select the BK2 version of this. All right, so that's where we're at right now. Last thing I believe we're going to need is we're going to have to tune all this stuff. So let's go back to Genesis Coupe 2.0T, ECU tune, and we're going to select Dyno Tune service. So this Dyno Tune service is for people who are able to bring us the car to have us dyno tune your cars. The pricing is there, and then additional to that pricing, you'll have to pay for the dyno itself. Dyno rentals right now, on average, go for about $100 an hour. Setup like this, it will usually take about 2 hours to do. So, add another $200 to that as your expense that you can think about how much you'll be spending. With that said, let's select all the options. So we go to BK2. Let's say we have a manual. There's no difference between manual, automatic, and pricing. So we can do that. 93 or 91. You could technically go E85, but if you do on ethanol mix, we do need to start touching the fuel system. We need to go with bigger injectors and things like that. So let's not mess with that right now. Let's just stick with standard 93 pump gas octane. Pop and bang, sure, why not? It's free, right? Colder plugs. We already bought colder plugs with the Turbo Kit, if you remember, so we don't have to select that option here. Really no need to clone ECU unless you really wanted to, so I'm just going to keep that off. Injectors are stock. Okay, we're not changing that. We are upgrading the turbo, so we need to get that additional 250 in there. So let's add that on there. Keep in mind, if you're not local to us, if you can't bring us the car, this portion of it, obviously, you'll have to figure out on your own with your local dealers for Alphaspeed to see if you can get it custom tuned. If you would rather have us do it, you can definitely, you can purchase this on our website. Give us an email or a message us on Facebook, and we can schedule a time for you to come in to get that all done. So let's take a look at our cart, see if we have everything we need now. All right. So first, we have the Dyno Tune service. We've selected everything correctly. So BK2, manual, 93 octane, pop and bang. We don't need the plugs here. We don't need to clone the ECU. We're using the stock injectors. And yes, we did upgrade the turbo, so there's $250 charge for that. BK1 O2 housing. And then we have the downpipe, test pipe, and the cat back. So we have a full MXP exhaust system going on the car, which, like I said again, is the only exhaust system I will recommend for the Genesis Coupe 2.0s. Injen Intake, again, I chose this because it was middle of the range pricing. You can honestly choose any intake you like. The Turbo Kit, let's look at the options we chose for that. So BK2, we went with the biggest turbo that Arashi actually makes, which is the TD06 SL2 AR3 ball bearing. The BB stands for ball bearing. I chose the ball bearing because we wanted to spool fast and we wanted to hold power really well up top. So ball bearing is where you really want to go with that. And honestly, it's not a huge hit in the pocket to jump from the journal bearing to ball bearing. So there you go. BK1 O2 housing. That's an option that says client must supply own BK1 style O2 housing. We already did that up top. Okay, turbo manifold. It's going to get pre-assembled with the MXP manifold on it. Boost controller, I chose the Greddy Profect electronic boost controller. I'll put another link up here in case you missed that link earlier on why we're using that boost controller. And another link on this side for the spark plugs and why you need to have colder spark plugs. Okay, and the cost to assemble everything. We also have the Ace alloy wheels. We got them in satin black. Just going to assume you have Brembo brakes. Even if you don't have Brembo brakes, you can select that in case you want to upgrade down the road. And then lastly, we're lowering the car on silver NEOMAX coilover kit for Genesis Coupe with all default options for everything. Okay, so we came in pretty close to our goal, $8,737.92. With that said, installation is this turbo kit, the intake, and the exhaust system. It's definitely going to be under $1,000 for everything. When we used to run our shop to do installations, we used to charge $600 for the turbo kit installation. And then all those exhaust and intake can all be done at the same time, saving you some money, compounding that labor. I would say, look for labor costs from anywhere from like $700 to $800 for everything. Only thing that you do have to add to this, other than that cost of installation, is the tire cost, because we're upgrading the wheel, so that's where we may go slightly over on budget. But I mean, you get the point. For under $10,000, you can have your car making 400 wheel horsepower, blowing doors off cars, looking good, lowered, a nice set of wheels, sounding amazing. This is a good starting point for your car. Like I said, if you wanted to do styling afterwards, that's totally up to you. BK2 Genesis Coupes, lower to the ground with nice set of wheels, looks amazing already. So, yeah, the sky's the limit from here. I hope I helped you out on future modifications you wanted to do and the direction that you should take your car. I'm going to make more videos for the BK1 2.0 and also the BK1 and 2 3.0 as well following this video. So if BK2 2.0 is not what you'll have, don't worry, I will cover those as well. And yeah, there we go. That's the end of the video for the day. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, and I'll see you on the next one.